This is Michael Tillinger. Today is the 9th of November 2023, and here's the latest update from One Small Town and all our activities around the world. And this news video is very overdue, simply because there is so much going on, and our small management team of mostly volunteers around the world that are contributing their valuable skills and time. We are stretched so thinly that we literally are running around like crazy. So I will take you through some of the things that are going on so that you really get a sense of how much is going on behind the scenes. What I want to tell you is that we are in a very important and critical phase of laying a very strong foundation for all One Small Towns of the future, for the council, for the members, for the businesses, the structures of the businesses, the import, export, everything to do with One Small Town and the international network that we're creating. That's the foundation that we're laying now. And if we don't get this right, if we do this lightheartedly, and if we don't get it right to the best of our ability, it's going to come back and bite us, and it's going to cause problems for us in the future. So while it might seem from the outside that there's not that much happening with One Small Town at the moment, let me reassure you, there is so much going on that's impossible for me to unpack everything for you here, because it covers all the sectors of industry, legal aspects, corporate aspects, literally learning how to use the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation. That's literally what we're doing on a day-to-day basis right now, putting that philosophy of ours into practice. So, first of all, it's all about implementation. We're focusing very, very heavily on the implementation of One Small Town, the philosophy into the One Small Town businesses and communities. Because, the idea and the philosophy is very simple. And from the outside, you say, okay, yeah, great. We're going to get a bunch of people. We're going to decide to work together. We're going to plan things and do them together and so forth. And that's all wonderful. It's a lovely utopian vision that I've shared and promoted for nearly 2 decades now. But when it comes to the implementation, things change very quickly. Because suddenly you start dealing with red tape, with government bureaucracy, with laws and bylaws and acts and things that you didn't think about at the time when you think of this utopian community working together. And we must never lose that vision. We're going to retain that vision and keep that vision always in our mind. We're creating a beautiful utopian, united community that cooperate and collaborate for the greatest good of everyone in our community. That is fundamentally the One Small Town philosophy and the spirit of the One Small Town initiative. But to implement it really has started to create very interesting challenges that we are dealing with, eliminating and solving as we go along. One of the most important things that we're learning, and once again, we're learning mostly of what not to do, and from that we are discovering of which road and which direction to take. So it continues to be an interesting baptism by fire as we implement the One Small Town strategy, as we go from a wonderful fairy tale-like utopian ideology into a hardcore, real-life bricks and mortar implementation phase, so that nobody can be ripped off. Everybody knows what's going on. Things are transparent. There's a system that manages it for the community. So it's easy to use and easy to do the accounting and all the things that ultimately make the One Small Town initiative a success. That's what we're busy doing right now. At the same time, we are developing ongoing business plans, learning and strategizing, and then implementing from our experience. As I said, learning mostly what not to do. So let me remind you once again, we are doing something that's never been done before. We don't have a playbook or a script to look to and to guide us. So we are literally writing the script for the One Small Town initiative, its implementation, how to launch it, how to reach the people, how to bring the people together to form their own People's Council, and how to put together a plan of action. And that's one of the most important things we've learned. But from the first time we introduced this to the various towns and places that we've introduced One Small Town, it has now become very evident and very obvious of what we have to do. How do you start this? What's the first thing you do? So we're discovering that as we go. And at the moment, our little town of Parys in South Africa is showing us or becoming the greatest example of what we've learned and our experience over the last year and a half, or almost 2 years now, what we've learned from the various One Small Town initiatives, and we're now implementing it in the town of Parys, where the people have come together. Those who want to implement One Small Town, they formed a very strong and a powerful and a united council, People's Council, and they come together and they've put together a long-term plan, a 12-month plan and a long-term plan into the future, with at least 50 business plans that they've come up with and a number of community upliftment projects. And out of those, they're now choosing the lowest hanging fruit. What are the 3 best and most likely businesses that they can start and write business plans for? What are the easiest and the quickest community upliftment projects that they can start? And while this is happening, learning how to use the One Small Town platform, learning how to upload the projects, how to write the business plans and how to upload them onto the platform, and going through the process. So learning how this entire integrated system works, so that we learn from this. These all become prototype examples for us. So this is all what's happening behind the scenes and on the ground. So like I said, there's no script or playbook. We're writing the script on a daily basis as we go, so that future towns, future ambassadors, and future communities can learn and implement this a lot smoother and a lot easier. Every new One Small Town that comes on board, things go a little bit easier than the one before. But at the same time, the very first One Small Town that we launched, the beautiful Ras El Matan in Lebanon, has now shown us the way to do it. Fayez Mukarim, the ambassador there, and the incredible team that he's created, put together there in Ras El Matan, Lebanon, have literally turned out and pulled out miracles. So we now have great success in the very first One Small Town that we've initiated, because that's now nearly 2 years old, and great success from the most recent small towns that we've initiated here in South Africa in the town of Parys. So what I can also tell you, that things change in this whole thing. You know, I've been the visionary for nearly 2 decades, talking about this, visualizing it, promoting it, talking about the philosophy of One Small Town. But when it comes to the implementation, that's when you need to get rid of the visionaries and put them on the side to keep the vision alive. But now you got to bring in some hardcore business people, some hardcore project managers, and people that know how to implement businesses and how to implement projects. I'm not the guy for that. So I've had to learn to step aside and let my partners and new One Small Town members that are coming on board with incredible skills and knowledge and experience in business management, project management, business writing skills, and so forth, business plan writing skills. I've had to step aside and let these people, this group of people, start to put together the plan of implementation, because that is not my area of expertise. And in a way, for several months and maybe more than a year, I have personally stood in the way of this happening a lot quicker. And now, since I've stepped aside and allowed our brilliant minds of project managers and business planners and so forth to start driving the implementation, things are happening so much quicker and getting done so professionally and effectively that it's really taken me by surprise. And I'm so grateful and so excited and literally grateful for incredible people that have joined the One Small Town international management team with international management skills and project management skills, accounting skills and tax, knowledge and so forth. So I'm deeply grateful for all of the people that are helping to drive this and are now part of the management team. But some of the most exciting news that I can share with you is that we're about to release our very first products and launch the first businesses in our One Small Town initiative. In Ras El Matan, Lebanon, we're about to release our first products that are already being planned and packaged and labeled and prepared for export and distribution. And that is their primary water, deep earth water, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, while we've been planning this and preparing these products and setting these businesses up in Ras El Matan, We've also had to deal with the laws, the legalities, the export contracts, finding distributors, and looking at the price structures, dealing with all the bureaucratic red tape and so forth. So all these things that we're learning right now and putting into place are things that are going to benefit every future One Small Town initiative. And that's why I said we're laying a crucial foundation for things to come. So let me share with you, for example, One Small Town Lebanon, the Ras El Mutton, their primary water. We already have a distributor in the UK for the water. And it looks like the primary water product from Lebanon is going to become what we call the cornerstone business for Ras El Mutton One Small Town, which means that it's going to make enough money to pay the office, to pay the full-time staff and employees that run and manage One Small Town in Lebanon, and still make a lot of profit and enough profit to distribute to the members. But that's just one of the businesses. As I said, we already have distribution and the distribution network in the UK. And also just to explain that while we are doing this and putting all these export manufacturing, packaging, exporting and distribution plans together, we are also at the same time creating an international, or the foundation for an international distribution network, because every One Small Town office in every country, in essence, becomes our new international distribution hub. And from there, we distribute it into that country, into the states and provinces, through the various One Small Towns or distributors that deal with specific markets, whether it's retail or wholesale or hotel industry or whatever. So, for example, our primary water from Ras El Mutton is going to go into retail stores. We're also going to be targeting private hotels and so forth. So, but the key thing here is that while Ras El Mutton One Small Town is making a profit and paying its own staff to run the One Small Town office there, the One Small Town UK office is also making a profit because they become the importers of it, and they then sell it on to the local UK distributors. So this way we're creating funding for all our One Small Town offices, and at the same time paying our members that are contributing their time for the packaging and the manufacturing and bottling and distribution, and all the offices around the world start to benefit. I hope you can see this very powerful picture emerge in your mind. So the other products from Ras El Mutton are pine nuts and honey, and there'll be a few more coming very soon. And the big one there, obviously, if you're not aware of that, is the Health and Wellness Center in Ras El Mutton. The building is in place. We've secured the building. We're very close to converting that building and renovating the building. And more importantly, we are very close to finalizing the investor token agreements so that we can officially launch our very first investor tokens for Ras El Mutton Health Center. This is a huge shift because this will lay the ground for all, or the foundation for all future investor tokens for One Small Town businesses around the world. This, once again, is the prototype, and we've literally been around the track many times, dealing with legal experts and tax experts and contractual experts and shareholding experts and people like that to help us write the contracts and agreements for when we launch the investor token for the Ras El Mutton Health and Wellness Center. So we're very close to doing that. We have the contracts ready and pretty much agreed upon, that we don't contravene any laws, international laws. It's by the book and so forth. So all of these foundations are being laid. I trust you're starting to see how much work is being done behind the scenes. And this is why we're not making so much noise, and I'm not making so much noise on the front as to what we're doing in the towns, because if we don't lay this foundation, it's going to come back and bite us. So we're really doing what we can to stabilize this as best as we can. The moment we release these first products from Ras El Mutton, that will unleash a huge energetic shift in, first of all, in the way that the One Small Town is perceived by people around the world, because suddenly we have successful businesses that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month for a little town called Ras El Mutton from one product alone. Not even mentioning the other products that they already have in line to be released very, very soon, shortly after the water. So that sends a huge energetic shift. It releases all the built up and pent up energy that we've been storing and holding until we release this. So the credibility of One Small Town is going to really explode. People are going to start seeing, wow, this thing really works. Look at these businesses in Ras Al Mutton. Look how much profit they're making for their members. Look how they're exporting it around the world. How the UK office is making, now setting themselves up because of the work of One Small Town in Lebanon. It's incredible how the one supports the other and enables the other to then become successful itself by investing in its own businesses and projects. So what else have I got for you? So the health center obviously is very important. And that's going to be a huge money maker for that little town of Ras Al Mutton and its members. Just so that you know, if you haven't seen any of the previous updates, the expected profits, net profits from the health center in Ras Al Mutton is between $5 and $7 million and probably more net profits after all the expenses. That's about $7 million per annum for a little town and a health center like that. So just keep that in mind, how much that's going to grow, and believe in the confidence of One Small Town around the world. We're creating systems for production, for distribution, for management, for project management, for legal contracts, for exports, knowing how to deal with all the red tape and bureaucracy, and so on and so on. So, like I said before, nobody said this was going to be easy, and we're not doing this because it's easy. We're doing this because it's hard, but it has to be done. Because there are very few options that we have into the future. There are very few systems, or very few community development programs, or very few solutions for humanity to give us prosperity and abundance, peace, unity, harmony into the future. As far as I know, One Small Town is the only initiative of its kind. There is no other like the One Small Town initiative. The other big news is that One Small Town USA, we've started developing business plans for hemp farming and then all the down the line byproducts and value chain products from hemp farming. We're at the early stage of putting these business plans together, but that is something that is being met with a lot of excitement with our USA ambassador and partner. So that is literally just been initiated in the past 2 weeks. We're also finally reaching, after just more than a year, reaching the upgraded and the updated and upgraded latest version of our seed treatment machines. And therefore, we are very close to being able to launch the Seed Bank Initiative and the Seed Treatment Initiative, which can then create a whole knock-on effect with providing farmers with fruit trees and commercial farmers with seeds for corn and wheat and all that kind of stuff. So again, the One Small Town Seed Bank Initiative and the Seed Bank Investor Token is coming ever so closer for us to be able to launch it and release it. Then what else can I share with you? The exciting thing about Parys, one of the most exciting things we've managed to land in Parys is South African technology to do with pyrolysis, or converting rubber and plastic to oil. That's A2 grade oil, which is in high demand and sells like hotcakes. There's an insatiable demand for A2 grade oil. You can't make it fast enough, quite frankly. So what we are now gaining in One Small Town Parys, because of their organized approach, the way that they've approached this, creating their council, putting together the business plans, ideas, the long-term 12-month vision and beyond, that has led us to South African technology that converts rubber and plastic into oil. We are now finalizing this and creating what we call the first cornerstone project in Parys, where this will most likely launch in the next 3 to 6 months. This is huge, because once that model is in place, that will then become the blueprint and a cookie cutter blueprint model for all small towns or small municipalities in South Africa. I'll talk about the rest of the world later, but right now we're going to focus on making this a cornerstone initiative in South Africa, which means that One Small Town office will have enough funds from that first pyrolysis plant to help set up more pyrolysis plants, plastic to oil, in other small town municipalities. And where we can't fund it from our office, we can raise the investor token to help fund that and launch it within 6 months. Once that gets off the, once we get that rolling, we can literally roll out one every 6 months, every month into a new municipality. What does that mean? Well, that means that the One Small Town head office in South Africa will in essence be the funder and investor into these small towns to launch the One Small Town initiative there. And we don't have to wait for investors. We don't have to go in there, hoping that we're going to find some investors into the businesses. We can literally go there, set up this first business, find the people that want to be involved in One Small Town, set up the office, and start from there with funding for the office and enough funds to start initiating a chain of additional businesses in that specific One Small Town and that municipality. So I hope you see how this has evolved, how our thinking, our philosophy, our implementation plan has evolved and shifted over the last 6 months and 12 months and 2 years. From a very naive utopian philosophy of, we're going to get together and start these businesses and share everything. Yes, that is the utopian idea and utopian model. Nothing has changed. But we now have a very pragmatic and a practical implementation strategy that creates cash and profits for the community. It keeps the One Small Town office liquid with funds so we can keep the office going. Because if the office doesn't have funding, then One Small Town initiative can't operate because, the platform is driven from the head office. So all of this is taking a huge amount of effort, huge amount of thinking, consulting with experts, and so much more. So, as I said, Parys is really turning into a great example for future small towns that we're going to learn a lot from and start using this model for future implementations. Let's quickly talk about the token price. Some of you may know that the Infinity token has gone from $189 to $249 US dollars. The reason that's happened is because we activated the algorithm for the past few months. We were updating all the past historic contributions of very important contributions of people that have contributed a lot of time, effort, expertise to the One Small Town. We've upgraded and updated that. Then we activated the algorithm and that pushed it up from 189 to 249. We're now going to do this on a monthly basis. Once a month, we'll activate the algorithm so that all the activity during that month is going to then be activated by the algorithm and push the price up of the token according to the algorithm. So it's not me that decides what the price is, it's the algorithm that's encoded on the platform. So it's going to happen once a month from now on. And you'll see that every month the price is going to go up a little bit because of the new towns we start, the new members that sign up, the new 3 hours of contribution they contribute, the new businesses we start, the more products we sell. All of this is interconnected to the value of the One Small Town Infinity token. Do you remember when Bitcoin was first released around 2009 and what a novelty it was and how confused so many people were about the Bitcoin? So, everybody started to buy Bitcoin, or a lot of people started to buy Bitcoin. They didn't quite know what to do with it, but they knew maybe in the future it's going to be useful or valuable or whatever their thoughts might have been. Well, the same is going to happen with the Infinity token. As our members start to gain tokens, earn them, generate them, remember that Infinity token is an asset-backed token. It's backed by our own sweat equity, our own work, our own labor. So every time we contribute 3 hours a week or 3 hours, we in essence generate or create the token and the value in that token. So as our members and the people that have bought some tokens, as the tokens start to gain value and they start to be used more regularly and exchanged by our members and so forth, the value is going to keep growing and people are going to start realizing that this thing is really a valuable exchange tool and a mechanism for them in their lives, especially within the One Small Town community. Remember that the Infinity token is a private membership token. You can't have it unless you're a member of One Small Town. And that protects its value, it protects reckless traders crashing the token or devaluing it or anything like that. So the same is going to happen with Infinity. So I highly suggest or recommend that you go online, sign up to be a member, buy yourself a bunch of Infinity tokens, whatever you can afford. Or remember that you can actually set a 12-month subscription fee. So you buy the tokens at the price that they're worth now and pay the same price for 12 months. So whatever happens to the price of the token, you pay the same price every month for the tokens that you subscribe to. So I recommend that you do that, because there will come a time that we get to the critical point or the tipping point of when people start to realize how powerful this Infinity token really is. And at that point, those people that have tokens are going to be very, very happy. It is something new. This has never been done before. Like I say, every time we talk about that, we're doing this without a playbook, without a script. We are writing the script. We are creating this for ourselves. So get some tokens and hold on to them, or start using them and exchanging them and sending them to people, so that you get used to the idea of sharing and exchanging the tokens. Let's talk about the platform. The platform is obviously the foundation and the nerve center that holds the whole One Small Town initiative together. The platform connects members together. It distributes the tokens. It allows you to send tokens from your digital wallet. It allows us to sell product to each other across the world, to export, to import, to distribute. Provides the business plan platform, the project management platforms, how the members contribute their 3 hours a week or 3 hours a day. The platform is an incredibly powerful nerve center of the One Small Town initiative. And it takes a lot of coding and a lot of work. So every day, a tremendous amount of work takes place on more coding, more programming, and making the platform bigger and stronger than what it is. It is already, according to some experts, bigger and stronger than the platforms of some of the biggest corporations in the world. That's what we already have. And we're slowly but surely expanding into its full capacity. We're not using even a fraction of the full capacity of what the platform can do for us. So the platform is critical, and it also provides the location for the art galleries and the online store. Now, let's talk about the One Small Town art galleries. That's really important because the Russell Mutton Art Gallery has been up and running for quite a while already, and we haven't really launched it. So we're about to start testing, uploading the first works of art from Russell Mutton Art Gallery, testing it, making sure it's bulletproof, that everything works. Keep in mind that there's a difference between the art gallery online store and a normal online store, because the art gallery is actually an auction site. So it has to have a lot of other coding and parameters in it that is very different from a normal online store. So we are very close to finishing the testing of the online art gallery auction site. And that's going to be a huge energetic shift as well when we launch the first One Small Town online art gallery auction site, because that'll change the way art is sold around the world, where our artists keep earning ongoing royalties from their works of art. Like authors and musicians earn royalties from their work, our One Small Town artists that sell their work through One Small Town will continue earning royalties for every time their work is resold into the future. This is a whole game changer in the world of arts. So the art gallery, by the way, is also one of the spearhead foundational or cornerstone businesses that we intend to initiate in all the small towns around the world, because we believe that when you stimulate or reignite the creative spirit of a community, you reawaken the soul of the community. And where so many small towns are depressed, have been destroyed by large corporations moving out and destroying and abusing the small towns, and small town decay that's happening in so many small towns around the world. We believe that by initiating and reigniting the creative spirit through a whole new art gallery and arts and culture center, we will reignite the whole creative soul of the community, of the soul and the life source of that community. So a very important part of the One Small Town strategy going forward. The online store, the One Small Town online store, is obviously also very close to being finished, And that is a critical new step and an additional step for all the One Small Towns around the world. That connects the small towns to each other again through being able to distribute our products from a little town in South Africa to small towns in the USA or Canada or in China or in Australia or God knows where. No matter where you are, the online store becomes the new international distribution network for all the products that we create in our small towns across the world. This is very important. Plus also the online store becomes a funding mechanism for the office, the One Small Town office in each country. So that office then has enough funds to able to pay its costs, pay the people that are working in the office, and make sure that the foundation of the nerve center of One Small Town in each country is strong and can pay its own way. So that's why it's so important for us to launch the online store for so many exciting products that are already being created in small towns around the world. And that brings me to saying that right now, One Small Town is sitting on the verge of a whole new era. We're entering a whole new age and a whole new stage of expansion and growth. The moment we release the first products from One Small Town Ras El Mutton, followed by products from Parys and Barrydale and Kuruman and other small towns in Wales and our Swedish small towns that are coming on board, and new UK and USA small towns and Croatian small towns and so many small towns around the world that are coming into the One Small Town fold. Once we start releasing the products from these small towns, that means that these businesses have become active and start creating profit and become active in those small towns. That is a huge energetic shift for the One Small Town initiative around the world. And we're on the verge of launching that and entering this new phase where I believe the growth of One Small Town is going to start growing exponentially, because as the platform gets stronger and more powerful and more user-friendly, that's one of the key things that we're working on every day, making it more and more user-friendly, because that's not easy in itself. The more the platform becomes user-friendly, the more members can sign up, the more ambassadors can sign up and start implementing the One Small Town strategy from all the experiences that we've gained over the last 2 years. The One Small Town initiative will start growing faster and faster and more exponentially, and be able to activate the dozens and dozens of applications for ambassadors for One Small Town that we have, that we are not acting upon because we're not quite ready yet. We've got to make sure that the foundation is strong and solid before this thing can go and grow exponentially. So that is my update on this 9th of November 2023. I trust that it makes sense to you how much is going on behind the scenes. And just want to say, remember, you don't have to live in a small town to be a member. Just go online, sign up right now. Become a proud member of One Small Town, no matter where you are, no matter where you live. Go to onesmalltown.org, click on Become a Member. That takes you to the One Small Town platform. Click on Become a Member again. Fill in the form. It takes you 2 minutes. Become a proud member of One Small Town and tell everybody. And at some stage, you can join a One Small Town initiative near you, or you can become the initiator of a One Small Town initiative in the town that you live. But the first thing that you should do right now is become a member of One Small Town and tell everybody. We're the ones we've been waiting for. We're building this from the ground up ourselves. We're not waiting for anyone. We're not waiting to be saved. We are saving ourselves, because nobody is coming to save us. One Small Town is one of the few, if not the only initiative that has a full plan to develop prosperity and abundance in our communities. So with this news, I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks to all the support from the growing number of members around the world and the millions of people that have supported the One Small Town initiative over many, many years. Thank you very much. Keep growing, keep sharing the message, and until next time, this is Michael Tellinger. Bye for now.